Well, Larry Luxner is editor of the Washington Diplomat and a contributor to Cuban News. He joins us now from Washington. Thank you for being with us. Now, as Daniel Schweibler demonstrated in that report, despite the recent attempts to open up Cuba and the economic reforms, it is still quite difficult, isn't it, to get foreign investors and Cuban businesses on the same page, because you are still dealing with two vastly different economic systems. How big a challenge is that?
I think the challenge is particularly hard for U.S. companies because even with the loophole to the embargo, U.S. companies can sell food and agricultural goods to Cuba. But last year, those goods sales came to only $348 million, which is the lowest level since 2006. And it's only half of the $710 million in U.S. food exports that was registered in 2008. So I'd say it's becoming more difficult, not less.
And when you look at the America's history with Cuba and this 50-year-old embargo that it has imposed on the island, there's been this unquestioning support for the embargo among many Cuban Americans in the past, but more recently it's become far from this clear-cut issue that it once was. Do you think that's cause for optimism?
Yes, it's cause for optimism, but keep in mind also that under the Obama administration, there's been very little progress with regard to improving U.S.-Cuban relations, and particularly with the imprisonment of Alan Gross, who has been sentenced to 15 years for subversive activities. Keep in mind that next month will mark the 5th anniversary of Alan Gross being in prison. His health has deteriorated to the point where the man has lost over 100 pounds. He's in very bad health, and if, God forbid, Alan Gross dies in prison, I think that's going to be pretty terrible. Keep in mind also that with Republicans now in control of the Senate, I think any movement towards an opening with Cuba is extremely unlikely, and I don't think that President Obama will want to use his political capital on an issue like Cuba.
So you think the U.S. then is missing an opportunity in failing to capitalize on Cuba's recent economic reforms?
I do, but keep in mind also that those reforms are not really uniform, and most Cubans don't feel that they've gone far enough. There's been actually very little investment in that Mariel Free Zone, which was referenced, and also there's a dual currency system in effect, whereby Cubans are earning pesos and foreigners are using convertible pesos. That's supposed to end starting at the end of this year. But there's also been some drastic cutbacks. We understand that the number of universities will be slashed from 67 to 15, while health services are also on their way down. So average Cubans are very, very unhappy with the progress of those reforms up until now.
Good to get your perspective on this, Larry Luxner. Thanks for talking to us.
Thank you.